But I don't know, maybe in the future I'll kind of build off this room and maybe have a house kind of built around it. That'd be kind of interesting to do. Hi friends, welcome back to another Sims 4 speed build. I'm Austin, and today's video, as you might have guessed, is a sort of build off of the room build that I did on Saturday. So yeah, I kind of mentioned during the build that I was interested in potentially building off the room and making a whole house, and as time went on I sort of realized that it was something I really wanted to do. So pretty much, I think on Friday before the video went up, I started the video or the build, and yeah, and then by Monday, or by the time Monday's video had to be ready, I was finished with the build and I was really happy with it, so I decided to share it today. So yeah, I do have one issue I had with the bedroom build I did on Saturday was the fact that I couldn't figure out a decent name for it. A lot of great room builds have amazing names, and a lot of great builds overall just, have great names, and I couldn't really name the build anything other than bedroom build. So that was one downside for that build, but I'm really happy with how the whole build came out. I really wanted to make sure this house felt like the room kind of felt like a part of the house. So I tried to, keep that in mind as I was building, and I'm just overall really happy with the look of this house. It is fairly large. It has 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, and a living space, a dining space, a kitchen, I already mentioned a living room. But yeah, it's just kind of an all-around, I think, spacious home. So yeah. The one downside to this video is I've already done a voiceover for it, and it was a pretty good voiceover, I will admit. Good for my standards, but listening back to it, the microphone, I believe, was a little too close to my face, so there was some issues with it, and hopefully this time around the issues don't arise. I'm trying to keep the microphone a little safer distance to my face, and one thing I wish I probably did have, I wish I did have a better quality microphone. I'm using currently a headset microphone, and before that I was just using the microphone from my cell phone, which kind of explains why a lot of my early videos sound so bad. But now I think my videos don't sound nearly as tinny. They kind of sounded like I was speaking through a tin can originally, and now I think they sound a little more normal, hopefully. But yeah. So I can't remember what I talked about during the original voiceover for this build. A lot of voiceovers I just sort of ramble, and if that's what you prefer, then feel free to let me know in the comments. I typically enjoy talking about pretty much anything, but I also do like to make sure I cover the build. One thing I probably should have mentioned earlier in this video is I did have to cut out some portions of this build. So I did cut out a little bit of the roofing, I believe, a little of the landscaping, and towards the end of the build I did have to cut out some of the decorating and stuff. But I wanted to make sure kind of the bare necessities were in, and a lot of the rooms that I enjoyed building were also included. I think I cut out 1 or 2 of the bathrooms, and there were other parts of the build where I sped it up, and that tends to work and help a bit, but I don't want to make my videos too fast. I know in the past I've had videos that were really fast, and that's not great because, some people have motion sickness and fast videos can kind of trigger that. So that's the last thing I want to do. So if you ever feel like my videos are too fast for you, feel free to, stop the video. Let me know in the comments so I can keep that in mind for future videos. And yeah, there's no worries. I'm happy to know if there's something I need to fix in future videos. So yeah, I have that little reading nook in the kind of front of the house, and I really like how it looks. It's probably my favorite part of the house, which is sort of a downside because it was one of the first rooms that I built in this house. But I won't say the rest of the house goes downhill. I really like a lot of parts of this build. Also, there's a difference between the kind of end of the build and the screenshots. As you see, I'm working on the kitchen now, and when I was done with the kitchen, I had switched the countertops to a dark blue or a grayish blue, and yeah, see right here, around this time I start switching it to blue. And I end up going with kind of an orange and reddish style throughout the kitchen, which was kind of unsettling with the blue countertops and cabinets. So before I took screenshots, I switched everything over, but I didn't record that part. So yeah, the screenshots look different. If you're looking at the kitchen now thinking the blue countertops look really weird, even though parts of the house do use heavy blue tones, just rest assured that towards the end of the build, or at the end of the build, everything kind of switches over. And I do use a lot of blue in this build, so I think switching the countertops kind of helps everything, because I think with those countertops it could maybe be an overload of blue. Also, I used some yellow in this build. I really like a lot of the yellow objects, and you know, the yellow chairs, the dining chairs that I use, and you know, I think some of the best objects in this game really use the color yellow to the best of its ability, and it's one of my favorite. I think some of those objects are some of my favorite in the game. The countertops from Jungle Adventure, I believe, have yellow, which I don't think would have worked for this build, but I know there are some great builds that use those yellow countertops. So yeah, this build is coming out on Monday. I believe I mentioned that, and I'm not quite sure yet what the schedule for the rest of the week is, but hopefully, you know, as weird as last week's schedule kind of was, with a create a pet video, a weird kind of tiny house jungle oriented house, and a room build was, I was really happy with the overall you know, just kind of fun I had last week, and maybe in the future I'll do more videos like that. I like doing weird builds. I think they're kind of more of the, you know, I think they take a lot more creativity than some of the other builds I might do, and I don't feel like I do them enough, so hopefully in the future I can do some more strange builds, and if you're a fan of that, then that's great, because you know, that treehouse build that I did on Thursday, I'm just utterly shocked at kind of the response that video got. It's been a long time since I've had a video have as many views as that one, and I know it's not a ton of views, but having been gone for so long, it's nice, you know, to see any sort of view numbers really, but I was not expecting the numbers on that video as I received. So yeah, also I do want to thank all my new subscribers. I think as of Sunday I have 292 subscribers, which is just a mind-blowing number. When I came back, you know, I had around 285, and honestly, I think one thing early on with my channel that really got to me was you know, trying to get more subscribers, and meeting new people has always been one of my favorite parts of having a YouTube channel. But I think after a certain point you kind of learn, or you realize that getting that number higher does not equate to, you know, having, you know, great friendships with people, and you know, I've gotten to interact with a lot of the new subscribers, and you know, there's some really amazing simmers that have subscribed to this channel, and some other just amazing people that are subscribing and finding me through you know, Reddit or Twitter, or just on the recommended. So to everybody that's you know, new, and to everybody that's been subscribed for a long time, I just, from the bottom of my heart, want to thank you so much for being on this weird, crazy kind of roller coaster with me. So, also I want to apologize. There was a loud noise outside. I don't know if the microphone picked it up. I am not quite sure what that sound was, but yeah. So, also I do want to mention, talking about subscribers and numbers and stuff, I'm really surprised that I'm almost about to surpass 200 followers on Twitter. I think before I went on a hiatus, I think I was around that number again, but as with anything, if you're gone for a long amount of time, people tend to unfollow to kind of declutter either their following lists or their subscriber kind of feed. So I have no hard feelings to anybody that was once subscribed or once followed me on Twitter that has since unfollowed. There's no hard feelings. I completely understand how that is. So it's just kind of great to see that number sort of rise up again. So yeah, now that I've kind of talked about that, boring number stuff for a few minutes, I do want to kind of turn my attention back to the build, where this kind of corner of the house was really difficult for me to figure out what to do with. I ended up, really struggling, and because I almost put in bookshelves, and then I kind of did this thing with those like bookshelf, I don't think they're real practical, but they have a nice look, and I put the seats through them so it kind of looks like a bench area, and I don't know, it looks like a really cool kind of space, and maybe it's where your Sims would theoretically put on their shoes or their outdoor shoes before going outside and stuff. And I don't know, I think I was really able to build the space to a kind of nice look. So yeah, and I really like the backyard. I know I worked on that really early on in the video and never really talked about it, but I don't know, I think the blue tiles from Jungle Adventure look really nice. And one thing I am trying to do recently with builds is I've been trying to use different lighting sources. I think everybody sort of uses the same lights, and while I love those overhead lights, I think I need to start showing love to some other lights in the game, so I've been trying to switch things up towards the end. Also, I do have my settings maxed out on lighting, so I really like having sort of kind of dark corners in the house and places where maybe light doesn't reach fully. I think that's pretty realistic with homes. And I think it makes for great screenshots, so that's sort of why I've been doing what I've been doing with that. But if you have a game, or if your computer can't quite handle that, I know mine really can't. If I was going to be playing for long periods of time, I would turn the settings down. But if you are playing for long periods of time and you want to use one of my houses and you find that the lighting is a little too dark for the build, then feel free to just add those lights back in. They are perfectly fine, and for any build they work. It's just, I want to kind of show some appreciation for some lighting sources that I haven't used maybe since ever, really. But yeah, so one funny fact I think about this build is the fact that the master bedroom is smaller than the bedroom I built for the room build, but yeah, I mean, it doesn't have an ensuite, so that's one downside to the room build I made, but I just really like how this build came out overall. So yeah, the build is sort of wrapping up, and screenshots are going to be on screen shortly. So one thing I will say, if you don't have time to watch a complete build, but you want to watch some of your favorite parts, I do leave timestamps in the comment below, so you can kind of pick and choose what area of the build you want to look at. So yeah, if you ever are short on time and need to just see the screenshots or anything, feel free to click there. But yeah, so the screenshots are on screen. So thank you so much for watching. If you are new to this channel and you want to see more videos like this, then hitting the subscribe button and clicking the bell go a long way. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.